Okay, this is going to be a good one. So, the sun is out, about to set, and it's the golden hour. So, the perfect time to make a video. Now, let me get my water bottle. So, for a long period of my life, I was incredibly depressed, moody, this obsessive kind of person, who was not a very fun person to be around. I was mostly keeping it to myself, very introverted, and found it very hard to socialize and hang out with people. Like, whenever I would be among people, I would feel this urge to run, to go away. So, and that really bothered me because when you are showing that sort of closeted energy, then people are also naturally think that you do not want to hang out, so they also dissociate from you. So this tendency to isolate myself really weighed heavy on me, and it would show in my demeanor, in the way I talk, and that really hampered a lot of the opportunity to truly express myself. However, lately I've been coming out of this habit, and this is really a habit, and you have to break this habit and grow out of it in order to become more of a social person. And it is important to be a social person because only when you are social that you make yourself likable and you connect with people and you form connections, and meaningful connections is what makes this life worthwhile. So if you are not a very social person, you keep it to yourself, you're introverted, then you are cutting off a very important part of your life. So yeah, so I would come across as a very detached, asocial kind of person, even though people would recognize that I am intelligent, but a very college professor type of vibe, and I didn't like it. I didn't like to be named as that one uh, intellectual, nerdy kind of person, because a nerd naturally represents someone who is socially not a well calibrated kind of individual. But I used that period of isolation and introversion to learn about a lot of stuff. So, stuff around psychology and consciousness. And as I learned more and more about it, my own weaknesses came to the forefront. I became more cognizant and aware about where I was lacking. So I understood that there is a lot of suppressed energy in me, which wanted to express itself. See, the even the expression of suppression has the meaning of the word, which is that it is not that which is not expressed is suppressed. So I learned about a lot of. Started reading books on self improvement and consciousness, and that helped me to slowly break out of this shell. Now, this closeted, not in the way that it is culturally. Well, I came to understand more and more that my self-expression was blocked in a very serious way, and something seriously hampered it at a very young age. So the I'm still climbing out of that hole that I've gotten myself into. And one of the ways that I started to become more social and more expressive is when I totally accepted this side of me, and I became totally authentic. Well, let's just say that at some point I just went blank, but that's all right. I guess I wanted to say that at some point I totally accepted myself, and out of that came real, genuine authenticity and sincerity, because people would deep down know that the place from where I am coming from is a sincere place. So they became more and more receptive to it. Now, one of the reasons that was blocking my self expression was also anxiety, and a very negative sort of anxiety. So, the sort of anxiety that would make you question or think twice or keep you in your head about what you're saying is right or wrong, or how you are being perceived by other people. So, that naturally creates a lot of blockages in your expression when you're constantly thinking about how other people are perceiving you. So I would feel this noxious, almost gut wrenching negativity, and it was a very slow process through which I got rid of this negativity and became more comfortable in my own skin. See, it is all about that. It is about becoming comfortable in your own skin, and once you are comfortable in your authentic expression, then you hardly care how you are being perceived. You just care about expressing what is your God-given right, or what is your God-given state. So you want that to come out of you, because if you don't let it come out of you, then you are doing God and this life a great injustice. So it is incredibly important to find out what are your weaknesses and then work upon them, and to improve them and then come out of it transformed. So this as I became more aware, I understood the root problem of this blockage, and it lied really in my childhood, where the environment wasn't very suitable for a genuine expression of one's own. It was very cloistered and emotionally draining, and there was a lot of drama around. So that hampered a child's natural way of expressing oneself. So, as I begin to notice this in myself, I started to work up some courage to speak more and more in public places. And in a way, I'm still on the way. Uh, I still think there is a lot of work yet to be done, but I'm on my way to become totally comfortable and confident so as to speak in front of a large audience. Now, this was the more of a backstory. But what the future holds is something truly incredible. Now, one of the reasons, and this has happened to me in my own life, that guys turn women away from themselves is when they show this negativity. So, and how does this negativity is broadcasted? It is broadcasted through behavior of neediness, of seeking approval. That is a big one. Of pleasing the other. And when the other person does not conform to your expectations, you return back to this hole inside of you, this really cloistered energy, and you become moody and non responsive. And that sort of negativity suggests us a kind of stubbornness to reality as it is. You are saying no to the present moment. And by holding on to that negative emotion, what you're unconsciously saying is that if I hold on to this negative emotion, it is going to change reality. By me holding on to this negativity, I'm going to bend reality to my will. But that is a wrong way to go about it, because that if you if you're holding negative emotions inside of you, that is going to project outward and disrupt any positivity from coming into your way. So if you want to have a positive change or a positive transformation, that negativity you're holding on to is only going to repel that. So if you truly work upon this, and it is really a work, you understand the moment when you feel cloistered. You notice the moments when you become that when that negativity creeps up and it wants to dictate terms, it wants to possess you. And by the power of your awareness, you don't let that negativity to possess you. Through becoming more and more aware, awareness is like the sun, and all it will dispel the shadowy emotions as the sun dispels the shadows. So, what happens when a woman is showing genuine interest in you and she wants to bring that light, that positivity in your life, but you are too negative inside to accept that, and you repel her? Rather than creating a light atmosphere of a joking, fun filled environment, you bring all this heaviness that you haven't resolved in you into the interaction. What is that going to do? It will naturally disrupt the proceedings. So, in essence, what you must do, and it is incredibly hard for guys to do, is to abandon your reason and embrace that part of you that is childish, uh, that is a bit erratic, that is irrational, and you let that part of you to show itself. Now, you can only show that when you have embraced, when you have totally dealt with the suppressed energy. So once that suppressed energy in the form of your mind and your reason is released, so that would that would mean that your identification with your mind is broken. Then that energy which is your mana, which is the psychical energy, is then released into a more primal way in a more primal way, and that primal self expression gets awakened. You become who you are meant to be slowly. and then that only happens when you have destroyed this identification with the mind stuff. Now there is a higher level of this self-expression, and that is divine madness. Is it is when you are truly yourself. When you are truly yourself, you no longer dwell. You are no longer in your mind. You are, in a way, possessed by the demon, as the Greeks used to say. You are letting yourself being possessed by the self, as the capital S, self. And that is the most natural form of self expression and creativity and art. And that is the source of it all. And you let that take over you, and from that comes your charisma, and from that comes your natural expression of power. So that level of divine madness is is the highest form of self-expression that can only be attained when you have done the work. When you have done the work, only then you are able to unlock that. And that is the work, as I am telling you about. It includes not just working out or going to the gym or reading books, but also interacting with people, and to even cold approach, to go and talk to a woman, go and talk to a girl, and go and talk to the little kids, talk to your neighbor, talk to the people who live around you. You unlock that form of natural self-expression only through social interactions. And you cannot do that by sitting in your bedroom all day and then just going to the gym and just going to the and working on whatever work you are doing. And this is what guys are lacking. They are not unlocking their genuine self-expression because they don't interact. That creativity is left. That creativity is blocked. So you do this by approaching people, and by approaching people you get a feedback. You see how people are reacting to you, what sort of energy is being reflected to you, because people act as mirrors, and they will all the time reflect what you have been cultivating inside. So, and this is exactly what I'm doing right now through this. I am speaking and I'm watching myself speak, and through this simultaneous act of watching and speaking, something spontaneous happens, and I say things that I might not even come up with if I sat down and thought about it. It happens naturally, and this natural self-expression can only happen when you give yourself the opportunity to be spontaneous. So, and this is one of the one part of the three tripartite system that you work upon when you're talking and you're speaking to people, and that is the emotional part. The other part is the body, and the third part is your mind. So emotions, body, and mind, when all of these three things are connected and working harmoniously, what happens through you is music, it's harmony. Wherever you go, you create this effect on people uh, that is similar to how a very nice symphony would do. So people naturally gravitate towards such a thing. It's just like how you listen to a song, and if you really like a song, you want to keep listening to it again and again. It's the same effect such a person has on people. So you work on the body by going to the gym, you work on your mind and your intellect by reading and working on skills and cultivating skills that you can employ in the objective reality that will also help you earn some money. And the third part is emotions. And most people either have one thing right or two things right, but rarely will you see a person who has all the three things right and working in tandem with each other. So, body, mind, and emotions. Continuous work upon these three things is what leads to the magnum opus, or what the Hermetics called the magnum opus. In other words, it's the masterpiece. And what you're really doing by doing this great work is you're creating a masterpiece. This is the goal of all spirituality and religious teachings, is to hammer away at yourself and transform yourself so that something good can come out of it. Something truly magnificent can come out of it. And you cannot just do it by meditating all day or working out. Now, that forms an integral part of it. But the true joy, the true celebratory element of life can only happen in your day to day interactions with normal people, man or woman. And most people who head into spirituality forget about it. They become either too intellectual or they just become too dumb. So it's an intricate dance between the absolute animal self and the divine self. And through this work, you join them, you make them come together. And that makes this animal, which is the human being, so divine and otherworldly. You are not born otherworldly or divine. You have to cultivate that. You have to make yourself into that. And through this process, you do that. You make yourself almost supernatural, superhuman, divine. You are the star that shines among them all. You are that undying light in the darkness of this world. And through this cultivation of these qualities, you you emanate a sense of peace that helps in transforming people, and you don't even have to do anything. Your being does the thing for itself. So, something to think about, ponder over, and then practice and embody, and then living that embodiment in your day to day life. And do not wait for extraordinary events to happen, but to realize that every single moment of this life is extraordinary.